Questioner. Was the basic reason, the original reason for this then to increase opportunity for experience of the one creator? Is this correct? Ra. I am Ra. This is not merely correct, but is the key to that which occurs in all densities. Questioner. Does the process of bisexual reproduction, or the philosophy of it, play a part in the spiritual growth of second density entities? Ra. I am Ra. In isolated instances this is so due to efficient perceptions upon the part of entities or species. For the greater part, by far, this is not the case in second density, the spiritual potentials being those of third density. Questioner. I was wondering if the male cat, Gandalf, has benefited by that mechanism in some way, or by other mechanisms, in increasing spiritual potential or understanding. Ra. I am Ra. We examine this information, and find it harmless. The second density entity, sound vibration Gandalf, is a rare sample of its species due first to previous individualization, secondly due to a great amount of investment in this particular life experience. This is the greatest catalyst in this entity's progress. It is very unusual, as we have said. However, the experiences of bisexual reproduction which were of the nature of the entity Gandalf were to a small extent of spiritual benefit due to an unusual relationship with another entity, this also what you call a cat. This entity also being of an unusually third density orientation or investment from previous life experiences. Thus the formation of what could be seen to be recognizably love did exist in this relationship. Questioner. Thank you. Can you give me a brief history of the metaphysical principles of the development of each of our planets around the Sun, their function with respect to the evolution of beings? Ra. I am Ra. We shall give you a metaphysical description only of those planets upon which individual mind-body-spirit complexes have been, are, or shall be experienced. You may understand the other spheres to be a part of the Logos. We take the one known as Venus. This planetary sphere was one of rapid evolution. It is our native Earth, and the rapidity of the progress of the mind-body-spirit complexes upon its surface was due to harmonious interaction. Upon the entity known to you as Mars, as you have already discussed, this entity was stopped in mid-third density, thus being unable to continue in progression due to the lack of hospitable conditions upon the surface. This planet shall be undergoing healing for some of your space-time millennia. The planet which you dwell upon has a metaphysical history well known to you, and you may ask about it if you wish. However, we have spoken to a great degree upon this subject. The planet known as Saturn has a great affinity for the infinite intelligence, and thus it has been dwelled upon in its magnetic fields of time-space, by those who wish to protect your system. The planetary entity known to you as Uranus is slowly moving through the first density, and has the potential of moving through all densities. Questioner. Thank you. I was wondering if any of the other planets had a metaphysical evolution. You stated yesterday that much of this major galactic system dwells spiritually, as a part of the Logos. By that do you mean that nearer the center of this major galactic system, that the stars there do not have planetary systems? Is this correct? Ra. I am Ra. This is incorrect. The Logos has distributed itself throughout your galactic system. However, the time-space continua of some of your more central sun systems is much further advanced. Questioner. Well then, could you generally say that as you get closer to the center of this major galactic system, that there is a greater spiritual density, I'll use the term, or that this general spiritual quality is advanced at that area? Ra. I am Ra. This will be the last full question of this session, as this instrument is somewhat uncomfortable. We do not wish to deplete the instrument. The spiritual density or mass of those more towards the center of your galaxy is known. However, this is due simply to the varying timelessness states during which the planetary spheres may coalesce, this process of space-time beginnings occurring earlier, shall we say, as you approach the center of the galactic spiral. Questioner. The instrument would like to know if you could tell her whether or not this item, which is called Sam Miller's polarizer, would help her physical well-being. Could you do that? Ra. I am Ra. As we scan the instrument, we find anomalies of the magnetic field which are distorted towards our abilities to find narrowband channel into this instrument's mind-body-spirit complex. The polarizer of which you speak, as it is, would not be helpful. A careful reading of this instrument's aura by those gifted in this area, and subsequent alterations of the magnetizing forces of this polarizer, would assist the entity, Sam, in creating such a polarizer that would be of some aid to the instrument. However, we would suggest that no electrical or magnetic equipment not necessary for the recording of our words be brought into these sessions, for we wish no distortions that are not necessary. Questioner: Thank you. Is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable, or to improve the contact? Ra: This instrument is well balanced, and the contact is, as it should be. This instrument has certain difficulties of a distortion you would call the muscular spasm, thus making the motionless position uncomfortable. Thus we leave the instrument. I am Ra. You are doing well, my friends. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.